I guess on my hair, she look all right. And with that actually sitting there like this creams, and I had to have them, sis. All 5 of them. Here, I just had, we're gonna discontinue it, but I had to pick up their book of shadows, honey. Color grade makes cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Wow, so serious. Girl, I'm just not noticing there was lipstick on my teeth during that intro. What can you do, baby? What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Torrence here, and in today's video, I'm bringing you an eyeshadow tutorial. We are playing with one of my favorite brands, Adept Cosmetics, and they have dropped their newest palette. I know it's not technically new to the market, but it's still new to me because I haven't used it, and that is going to be the House of El palette. The packaging at first had me looking at it like, wait, that palette look a little smaller, Adept. What y'all got going on? This here is a 9-pan palette. I believe every palette that I've ever gotten from the brand before was either like a 12, 14, or 16-pan palette. So I'm like, honey, a smaller palette means you got to be even better with that color story. You're going to have to bring it. 5 multichromes and a 9-pan palette. I had to get into it. So if you all want to know how to achieve this look, make sure you continue to watch. But before we get started, I would love it if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I know I'm supposed to be doing 3 videos a week and I've been gone for a minute, but we're going to get back on schedule. I promise y'all that. And before we also get into it, please let me know what other palettes you all would like to see a tutorial from Adept Cosmetics. Right now, as I think about it, I do have every palette they've released. But I found out that they do have a new palette coming out that's been reformulated, and I'm trying to figure out if we're going to get that one. But we've been talking long enough. I know you all want to know how I achieve this look. I ain't gonna lie, I do like having my grass cut, but do they gotta be that long with it? Like, come on now, sis. So, before they interrupt anymore, let's go ahead, cut away, and get into these swatches before we get into this tutorial. And here is a view of the front packaging. It has a very nice blue metallic sheen to it with the orange coloring there. I'm not gonna lie, you all know oranges and blues are my 2 least favorite eyeshadow colors, but this packaging is actually cute. And the fact that they have House of El there, I promise you, if nobody would have told me this was Superman related, I would have had no idea. But don't tell nobody that. And normally I wouldn't show the back of the packaging because there's usually nothing there but just ingredients. But on this one, I wanted to do so because it has this phrase here that says, for this reason, above all, their capacity for good, I have sent them you, my only son, Jor-El. And I'm like, oh, that is so nice and so beautiful. So I had to go ahead and show you all that. And on the inside, we have 9 beautiful shades here. There appear to be 6 metallics and 3 mattes. This is the first palette that I believe I've received from Adept Cosmetics that does not have the mirror in it. So that is a surprise. But considering the fact that this is heavy on the greens for me, I'm going to go ahead and love it. So we're about to go ahead and get into these swatches. I'm hoping that we have at least 2 duochromes in here. I forgot to check to see what the finishes were for this palette, but we'll be able to tell from the swatches. Baby, let me tell you, I was not prepared for this. I know, and y'all know, Adept makes beautiful shadows. But for $49, I had no clue they were going to give us 5 multichromes. I believe the very first shadow, shade number 1, which is Jor-El, is a shimmer. But shades 2 through 6 are multichromes, and the last 3 are mattes. And baby, you can see the way they sparkle, you can see the way they shine. So I'm ready to get into this. So with no further ado, honey, let's grab our brushes, let's get started, because I got to jump into some of these shadows ASAP. Okay, since this new angle is something different, I had to rearrange the makeup room. I was basically cleaning, getting everything ready, and as you can see, fresh eye brushes, fresh clean face brushes, so we is ready to get things dirty. Today we are playing with the House of El palette by Adept Cosmetics, and you all know I love Adept Cosmetics. My brother is a huge Superman fan, so there was no way I was not going to grab this palette, even though when I seen the outside package, oranges and blues, I'm like, nah. But 5 multichromes and there's some greens in here, I gotta get into it, honey. And although I don't see me being able to use all 9 shades in this one particular look, just because we only have 3 mattes, I'm gonna go ahead and, because I'm wearing a green shirt and greens is my favorites, we're gonna jump into those first. So let me grab me a big fluffy blending brush, because what I want to do first is take this shade here, Eric L, and use this as a transition shade. She's the only shade that we have in this palette, and because I want you all to get a true indication of what this palette is capable of, we're not going to dip outside of it and grab other shades. And as with all tutorials, all tools and products used will be in the description bar below, but we're going to start things off with my Redford 27 brush. I did load it up, but just to get a true indication of the pigmentation, we're going to tap off some of that excess, because we can always go back in and build up more. And we're just going to use this as a transition shade. I want this all the way from the front to the back, and baby, just that first swipe already let me know I am happy that I dusted that color off. Because I knew she was an orangey peachy shade, but I didn't expect that kind of pigmentation, honey. So let's go ahead and just dust her all the way through. She is blending beautifully. She was really soft in the palette, so I didn't expect any issues from her. But what I want to know is, how well do you build up on the second layer? So after I diffuse these edges just a little more, we're going to go in and find out. But on just one layer alone, she's giving me no issues. So let's load our brush back up. Tap that off again. And let's see what the second layer does. Okay. To me, I would say it did build up, especially right here near the middle where my eyes are a little more hooded than on the edges. But it really does appear that you can get up to full pigmentation on that first layer. And with this being a lighter shade, that doesn't bother me. So I just want to go ahead, keep blending, and I want to diffuse this up and out as strong as possible, because we are going to go in next with a darker color. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of orangey shades, I still want my transition shade to shine. Okay, I'm satisfied with this. Be right back after I do this on the other side. Now that we have a beautiful transition shade down, we gotta go in and deepen up our crease. I have hooded eyes, so that's never an option, honey. We always got to go in and do that. So for me, we're gonna go into this green shade here called Kal-El. It's the darkest and only matte green in the palette, so I had to use it in my first impressions. And just to be on the safe side, honey, with our Redford 15 brush, we did load it up, but we're gonna tap off our excess, because we can always go back in later with a dark green. And we're gonna start off on the outer end, and we're gonna build this up throughout our entire crease. I wanna see how deep and dark this can get, and we're gonna go all the way from the outer end to the inner corner. So let's see. Okay, she's blending beautifully. But honestly, I wish she would have came up a little darker. But hopefully she give us a little more depth on that second layer. But the fact that she ain't giving no issues with blending is a plus. Want to make sure you pay attention to that front end. Build her up. And I always like to start low in the socket, and then as I have less product on the brush, I like to raise it up slightly. But we don't want to cover up that orange. And this is what we have with one layer. As you can see, it is giving us some definition, but if I wanted to cut my crease, that wouldn't be enough. So of course, I'm gonna go back in, load my brush up one more time, tap off my excess, and give her one more layer. And she is definitely building up on the second layer, honey. I think for most people, this will be enough color, and for today, we're gonna make it enough. But me personally, y'all know I love a deep, dark blackened green, so I would use that normally on my outer V. But to keep things nice and simple with this palette, we're gonna go ahead and leave it here. If I wanna go a little darker, I'll probably just take a smaller brush and deepen up the crease again. But so far, she's looking good. Like, yeah, there's no doubt about it that we got a green going on. So I'll be right back after I do this on the other side. And before we go into our shimmers, I want to prime my lids. With many shimmers, you can go straight in, apply them, and they'll stick. But Adept Cosmetics did put out a warning with these shades, letting it be known. This is not your traditional powder formula. This is a cream gel-like formula, and you will need some type of adhesive in order to get them to stick to the eyes. For me, I use a glitter primer all the time, so that never matters to me, but I do love it when a brand puts it out there and lets you know exactly how to work with their shadows, then expecting you to just automatically know that they've done something with the formula and it will take a special technique. So if you're someone who just likes to dip straight into your palette and apply them, this may not work for you, but considering the fact you got multichromes and you got a shine from Adept Cosmetics, because baby, their palettes shine from across the room, I don't mind doing the extra steps. So I'm gonna take my favorite, my NYX Glitter Primer. I love, love, love her, use her all the time. And I'm gonna put a little bit on the back of my hand, and we're just gonna cover our lids. I'm not really worried about being precise or anything, so instead of using my normal Morphe M421 brush, I have this e.l.f. concealer brush I wanna test out, because I used to use this to clean up brows, but I'm like, the wide shape on this looks like she'll be perfect just to apply a primer. So we're gonna go ahead and just see. Oh yeah, one thing for sure, she certainly applies it faster, but I just want to get it right here. I'm not really worried about anything being precise. The one thing I do not want to do is cover up that green. And I'm not really worried about anything but getting close to the lash line. Stick that straight in the socket, go back and forth. And that's good enough for me. Lids are prepped, and now I'm looking at these shades like Torrence. You got 6 metallics. Which one is it gonna be? I know for sure I'm gonna take this shade here, Zor-El. That has to go all over my lids. It's a multi-chrome that has a green shift to it, so I cannot skip it. And what I think I'm gonna do after that is take this shade here, Laura Van Elle here. That's shade number 2, and I'm probably going to use that to highlight the center of the lid just to give this look a little more dimension. I'm not sure if we're going to do anything else after that, but I'll be back after we do those first 2 shades. Okay, because I'm hard-headed and nosy, I know Adept Cosmetics told us this is a cream to powder. More than likely, it'll go on best with your finger or a silicone applicator, but I just had to see what she looked like with a natural hair brush. So even though I got my silicone applicator right here ready, I'm gonna go ahead and just see what kind of pigmentation we gonna get with a basic brush, honey. I just got to know. So just in case in the future, let's say if my applicator is dirty or, baby, that light bulb just blew and it scared the living crap out of me. We gonna keep that in here just so y'all can see, baby. You never know what's gonna happen in makeup. But we are going to keep applying, and this here looks stunning, honey. She is beautiful. I can already see the shift on my eyes, but something tells me I could get more opacity with the silicone applicator or my bare finger. Because this shadow is a cream-like product, if you press your brush near the center, some of that product will push out to the edge. And I'm just trying to see how opaque I can get this here with just my plain brush. And what I think we're going to do is go to the other side and use a silicone applicator and see what type of effect we get there. But baby, you can even see the multi-chrome effect going on. You see how it looks green right here on the center, and then when I turn my head, it looks more green here on the outside. She beautiful. So at least I know if I want to use a brush with this color, she will work. But let's go ahead and get our silicone applicator and pull her out and see how she look on the other side. All right, you guys, it's blank on one side, coated on the other side. So let's go ahead and see what type of opacity we get on this side. Oh yeah, no doubt about it. You see, all I did was press it twice. The amount of shine you get on this side is much stronger because the shadow looked a little more glittery on the other side, which let me know I was getting a much more less opacity look. Much more, that sounded so ignorant. the look wasn't going to be quite as opaque on the other side because I could see right through the color. With this is strong enough to be completely opaque and not allow anything to show through. I want to make sure I get you completely coated from front to back, just so you all can see the difference. And once again, I'm not really worried about the edges right now. I just wanted to make sure my lids were completely covered. And I'm not sure, but I want you all to look. You see how this just looks so much stronger, so much deeper and richer in color with much more shine than this side. This side, it seems to have a much softer edge because the color isn't quite as opaque. So what we're gonna do for sure is take our silicone applicator, go back and do this eye, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, you see what this looks like now. That is literally one shade across my entire lid. But as I turned my head, baby, it looked like I done took time to put 3-4 different colors down, and I am loving it. So we gotta keep going. Just to be a little more dramatic, because we truly don't need it, what I think I'm gonna do is still go ahead and take this second shade here on Laura Von Elle, and I'm gonna go ahead and use that with my brush once again, just to press that across the center, just to see what she looked like. Once again, we already know it's gonna look better with the silicone applicator, but I do not want this shade to take over this because that color is beautiful. So I'm gonna flip my brush to the other side, pick up a little product here. And what I want to do, actually I want to pick up a little more just in case. What I want to do is just come straight down the middle. I have rather large eyes, so I know I can take this, pull it down the middle, and it'll still give me an indication of what the color looks like on the inside and outside. So I'm gonna get my mirror and we're just gonna pull it straight down so I can see what this color looks like on top. And for me, yeah, the brush isn't quite gonna show it off the way I want to in person. I believe you can truly see it in camera that green is there, but for me, I feel as if the green is shining, but it takes away from some of that multi-chrome effect from the shade underneath it. Let me see if you all can see the shift on this side without the topper. And then this side here with it, it's still very beautiful, but I don't believe it allows that shift to come through the way I wanted it to. And I'm glad I did it with this brush instead of with the silicone applicator, because otherwise that green from Laura Van Elle would have been a little more opaque and dimmed down my multi-chrome effect a little stronger. So we're just gonna add a little more here. And we're not gonna go over it with the silicone applicator. We don't need that to be no more opaque than what it already is. And I was sitting back like, okay, Torrence, now you can go in and deepen up this one. That's gonna involve pulling out another palette. We're trying to see exactly what she's capable of. So what I'm gonna do now is cut away, finish off the face, and when I come back, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna finish off the lower lash line. All right, you guys, we are back, and I want to tell you everything I did off camera. I'm telling you, honey, we got some good stuff, we got some bad stuff, so let's go ahead and get into it. First off, for the past few weeks, my skin has just been giving me issues. It's just been dry and flaky, especially underneath the eyes. I understand we all have under eye lines. As I'm getting older, I'm in my mid-30s. The lines are only going to get deeper and worse, but for about a month, I just could not figure out why. Every time I set my makeup, the crease underneath my eyes was so deep, so dark, so noticeable, I could not hide it. But I finally realized I was adding too much of one particular ingredient into my skincare routine, which I still need to get recorded for you all. But now that my skin has calmed down, of course, there is the tiniest line right here, but my under eye still looks smooth now. So we back to our regular program. And I wanted to make sure it wasn't the makeup, it was my skincare, so I've been using a bunch of old favorites just to make sure. For foundation, we are using the Soft Matte Complete Foundation by NARS. She still looked good. This time I wanted to remind myself, full coverage and matte. Go in slow, go in with half of the product you think you would normally need and build up. And as you can see today, we got a full coverage matte look and she's beautiful. For concealer, pulled out one I've been trying to finish up. This is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This is in the shade Golden Beige. Huge tub. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish her, but I am gonna try. Have her there. For blush, a surprising beautiful blush. This is from Buxom. This is their primer infused blush in the shade, I don't know if this is the, oh no, it's called the Wonderlust primer infused blush and the shade is Ibiza. I thought the shade was Wonderlust. I was sitting here looking at this and I'm like, pale, you know, pinky mauve color. Maybe you don't have to worry about it. I dipped my brush in there, looked at it and was like, go ahead and stop to say it. Tap that off. You ain't never tried a Buxom blush, but if they blush is as beautiful as Bare Minerals, and I believe Bare Minerals owns Buxom, you might have a little issue on your hand. Tap that off. Boop, boop, went in, and baby, you can see that blush is beautiful. She's nice and soft and subtle, but you can tell there's something pink on the cheeks once I point it out to you. So I love the fact that you only need a small amount. She blends beautifully. She has a nice satin sheen to her, but regardless what shade you get, go in carefully because these are pigmented and you wouldn't want to do too much. Speaking of pigmented and doing too much, for my lips, I went in with a Juvia's Place combo. The lip liner is the shade Cola. I already know what she's like, love her, she's the darker liner that I'm wearing, but I wanted to try out this liquid lipstick I had never tried. This is in the shade Shakara. I'm not sure if this liquid lipstick came out with the Wahala or the, what was that other palette? Not sure, I'll leave the name of it right here, but I had never tried the Shakara liquid lipstick. I know I love their lip glosses and their bullet lipsticks, and I gotta say, this is one of those moussey liquid lipsticks. It's not the ones where you have that small precise applicator, you put it on, it dries down, it's fudge proof. It's much more soft mousse-like, but it is pigmented. This is a pigmented liquid lipstick. When you pull it out, it leaves a lot of product. That little product you see right there on the tip of this wand is enough to cover both lips, honey, I'm telling you. This is a mini, and as pigmented as it is, it may last as long as a full-time liquid lipstick because I wasn't expecting this color to be this vivid, this bright. Normally I would go in with the gloss on top of it, but I want to make sure I know what this liquid lipstick does on its own, so I'm just going to wear it by itself today. What else do we have? Lower lash line. We have my 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil from Urban Decay in the shade Mildew. I wanted something that was green to complement this look, but I wanted something that was much more on the subtle neutral side. So I can tell that it's green here. I'm not sure if that's showing up on camera, but in person I know it would show up, and I didn't want anything that would take over the look, which is why I'm wearing this one. And lastly, I believe for highlighter, I completely forgot I had this. Many people don't even still wear the Laura Geller highlighters, but once upon a time, Drippin' in Gold was that girl, and she was the #1 girl in the highlighting community. This is a trio palette that I bought because I know not Drippin' in Gold, my apologies. The palette is called Drippin' in Gold here. My shade is this one here, Gilded Honey. Gilded Honey used to be the #1 highlighter in the community. This shade right here, you see she has a slightly more yellow tone shade here called Molten Copper. Oh, let me get y'all in camera. This shade here is called Molten Copper. This shade here is called French Fizz. And I bought it just so I could have something for travel, have a variety of shades, and then I realized French Fizz is too light, and I have this in another palette. And Molten Copper is a color I just don't use. I always use Drippin' in Gold. I tried it today out of this palette. She was cute and all, but I have an individual. And to me, it's easier to get my brush into this individual. I feel as if it's slightly softer pressed, so it's easier to pick up and build up. And as you can see, that highlighter, baby, she is beautiful and beaming, honey. So, although I never thought I would probably say it, more than likely, if I can't find this Molten Copper shade, either in a single or a reason to use it, I'm probably gonna declutter this palette because it's just sitting here, I don't need it. And the shade I love most from this palette is sitting right here. So I'm gonna put that to the side, make sure I don't put that back into the cabinet so I don't use it again. But I'm sitting back looking like, Torrence, what else we gotta do? Lower lash line. Oh, almost forgot to tell y'all for mascara. My favorite duo. The Lancome Monsieur Big Mascara, Sales Booster Primer. Put that back right here. that would have been in the description bar, but because I'm just using old favorites, I wanted to make sure I told you all about that. But we've been talking for a while. I need to hurry up and finish this because I want to set this makeup and enjoy my day. So, oh, that lets you know how much I'm just talking and trying to get off camera. The one thing that disappointed me the most today, shocked. But then again, I'm not sure why. Y'all know I love my Beauty Blender sponges, but you could look at her. She is done and she is raggedy. You can see how many dents and bruises and stuff is in this one. So I'm like, Torrence, it is time to retire her. You have several others, but at $20 a pop, honey, I'd be trying to stretch my sponges as far as I can. But I'm like, it's time to get rid of this one. You could possibly use the bottom end to apply foundation, but underneath the eyes, she doesn't blend evenly. Get another one. Got plenty over there, so I decided to go ahead and wash this one here. Now looking at it, she looks sort of like that new papaya colored sponge, but I'm telling y'all, I have washed this thing at least 4 or 5 times, and I was trying to do it to get that red ink out because I'm like, I have a yellow tone complexion. I don't need a red sponge bleeding on me. And when I tried the original Beauty Blender, which was pink, it kept bleeding pink every time I washed it. So I'm like, Torrence, fill her up with water, put her to the side, and when it's time to do your makeup, you could go ahead and pull her out. Soon as I wrung that water out again today, it was red, and I'm like, how am I gonna use a sponge that bleeds every time I use her? So I wrung her out again, washed it again, went ahead, tried to blend her out, and I'm here to tell you, I just don't like it. This red one, she beautiful. I bought them when they first came out, and I've had this little set here sitting on my shelf for years just because it's cute and it's in the shape of a heart, and I didn't want to open those and mess that up. So I got another one here. I've given out a single one. I believe this one here came in a kit, which is why I finally used it. But no ma'am. I realized I like the Beauty Blender Pros. If it's not the black one, I don't care for them. All the others have this weird texture to them. This one here honestly felt like just plain plastic to me. I had a harder time blending out my concealer, and I was just looking like, wait, is this the real deal? Like, I know I bought it from Sephora, and so it's like, I'm a user just because I have her, but the idea of just wanting to pull her out is like, no ma'am. I think before I buy any other color Beauty Blender, I'm going to use up all the ones I have, and if for any reason I want another, I only see me purchasing the black ones. But I'm going to start testing out other sponges, testing out my brushes and things, because with the cost of Beauty Blender being so high and other sponges coming out with fabulous ones, this red one, I would say skip, honey. I'm upset that I even spent my money on her, but that cute one, she gonna stay over there for decoration. And now that we through talking about all this makeup, because I know I've been going for a while, it's time to get back into this makeup because I don't have nothing on my lower lash line, and I need some greener to get this popping. So let's jump back into this palette. Because I want to create a cohesive look, the same 2 matte shades that we used on our crease, we're going to use on the lower lash line. We're going to take a larger pencil brush in this shade here, Eric L, and we're going to buff that out. Then to deepen things up, we're going to go into this shade here, Kal-El, with a smaller pencil brush and add more definition. And of course, we're going to tap things off. This is my Redford 26 brush, and we're going to start from the outer end and just buff and get that to connect. I'm not really worried about how opaque this color looks here because it's all about that green, but I want that green to have a nice, beautiful, and seamless blend. So we're going to just do 1 layer on each side just to get this going. I know I did 2 on the top, but I don't want the bottom to be quite as dark as the top of my lid. With Kal-El, we're going to dust off the excess. We don't need green flying all over the place. And we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to get even closer to the lashes. And I want to buff this out. I want to make sure that this green is prominent, but does not completely take over, because baby, green underneath the eyes can have you looking sick if you blend it wrong. And because this is such a tiny brush, I will have to dip more than once to get my entire eye. But I don't mind that. I want to make sure this connects on the outside. It comes all the way to the inside. Okay, yes, honey, we got that green smoke going on this side. And I ain't gonna lie, even though I don't do orange, I'm looking at it on camera. This orange underneath on this side is coming off nice and cute. But we gotta add this green, so I'll be right back. We're almost through with this look. The only thing left to do is highlight our inner corner and our brows. And because the lightest green shade in this palette is Jor-El right there, you know I got to go in and use it. I'm gonna go in first and see what it looks like on the inner corner, and if it's too sparkly, I'll use my face highlighter underneath my brows, because if it does have some glitter particles, which not necessarily glitter particles, I'll say some reflective particles, then I wouldn't want that on the brow bone, because I think sparkles underneath the brow takes over the look and draws too much attention, and we need the attention on the eyes as a whole, not just one segment of them. Okay, interesting thing here. Just grab this shade Jor-El with my MAC 242 brush, and she has a really soft, creamy texture. And although at first I thought Jor-El would be the regular shimmer shade, it now has me wondering if Laura Van Elle, the shade that we put on the middle, is there, because she came off much more firmly pressed like a regular powder, that Laura Van Elle, and Jor-El is coming off really creamy, so he has me wondering if he's the multi-chrome. So I'm going to check in with Adept Cosmetics and make sure I leave that in the description bar below. But we're going to take this shade Jor-El here, and we're going to just put that on the inner corner. And baby, I am hoping she sparkles and blings from across the room. And look at that. She is beautiful, honey. And because I want her to be a little more dramatic, we're going to build her up a little bit and then bring her up to blend into our lid shade. But I want her to stand out for that inner corner. Baby, baby, she is beautiful. And she does have some pearls in there. Appears to be maybe some blue and green pearls. And I wouldn't want that color underneath the brows. So I'm going to do this on the other side. And when we come back, I'm going to use my face highlighter underneath the brows. And for our last step, we're going to use the same highlighter we use for our face. This is Laura Gellert's Gilded Honey. This is the individual. I'm just going to take my same MAC 242 brush, flip her over, grab a little product, and we're going to put this right underneath the brows. I'm going to make sure most of that product is right here at the point of the arch. Baby, look at that. I didn't even blend it out. I literally just placed it down like one swipe right there, and you see the shine. Baby, this is why she used to be that girl. We're going to make that a little more dramatic and bring that down just to make sure that shine comes through. Look at that. Sis, she is coming through. And you know what? Just because this is a green look, and I know I said I didn't want to be dramatic and do that, it's a little bit of those sparkles left from Jor-El on the other side. We're going to take and put that on top of it. Oh, look at that green little spark. Normally, I would not like something like that, and you can see it came off just a slight bit more cool tone because those blue particles is coming through, but she's looking cute today. We're just going to be a little dramatic for the girls and for the camera, honey. Look at that. Brows is truly on fleek, honey. I already know I got a high arch, so they don't need no help with drawing attention, but that's looking cute today. And I'm sitting back like, what else we got to do? Making sure we ain't forgetting no step, we ain't forgetting no product. And I don't think we have, and it's time to set everything. So you better grab your sprays, because you know I'm about to grab mine. And you all know the routine. Fix Plus to give us a glowy do. All nighter, so things will last all day. Sheet fan, expensive breeze, good times. I'm going to give this a few more moments to dry, and I'll be back to show you all the final look. And this is the final look. I want to go ahead, give you all a full face view of things before I give you all my final thoughts. And I'm here to tell you all, Adept has done it again, honey. This look here is so pretty. For me, it's simple because we only took, what, 2 matte shades for the crease, 2 shimmers for the lids, kept it moving. Although we do have one on the inner corner. Usually I would have done my regular highlighter for that. But to know we only used, I think, what, half the shades in this palette. We used 5 shades of the 9. And we avoided the orange simply because oranges aren't my favorites. But if you all want another tutorial with this palette, just go ahead and leave me a comment down below and I can get that going for you. But I am telling you all, if you have not tried Adept Cosmetics and you want to, please go ahead and grab this palette because she is beautiful. You are getting 5 multi-chromes and this palette is limited edition. I did check the website to see if this palette is available. Right now it is, but Adept has let it be known. This is the last restock. So if you do not get this before it sells out, you will not get it. If you are a Superman fan, if you are a fan of Adept Cosmetics, if you are a fan of multi-chromes, she is beautiful. And we already know, with most companies, I am someone who wants a palette that is heavy on the mattes. I have hooded eyes. I love depth and dimension. But to say you're going to give me multi-chromes instead of mattes, multi-chromes I believe in eyeshadow right now are the most expensive and the most, I say, the most bang for your buck. Before I got into, how can I put it? Before I got into freelancing, duochromes were my favorite because I always looked at it as, I'm getting 2 shadows for the price of 1. I don't have to put in so much work to get a dramatic over the top look, which is what I like. So to know that this here is coming off with just 2 shadows and I honestly could have pulled that off with 1 on the lid, you can't tell me nothing about her. She is giving me life. I am loving this. It's another palette that I finally got down from Adept because you all know, I think I have purchased every palette they've released, but certain times of the year they come back and let it be known this one's out of stock or this one's being reformulated. And I'm sitting back like, Torrence, how many other Adept Cosmetics palettes do you have that you haven't used? I never use my Amunet new palette and I just found out they reformulating that. So before they restock that and bring it back out, I have to use my original because when they come out with the new one, I'm going to want to know for sure, is it as good as the new one or is it worth just going ahead and keeping my old one? Not sure yet because I haven't used it, but with today's look, I am feeling myself, honey. The only thing I may do later on, I'm just going to go ahead and give this time to see if this liquid lipstick lasts. If it does, more than likely, I'm going to go in and top her off with this MAC lip gloss. But I really want to see what the longevity of this lipstick is before I do anything. So, with nothing else, honey, I hope you all truly did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you also leave me a comment down below letting me know if you've ever tried Adept Cosmetics. If you have, let me know what your favorite palette is because although I love them all, so far it just seems like the Ninhydrin is my girl. I love that palette. If you all would like to see my tutorial with the Ninhydrin palette, make sure you check her out right here because, honey, I don't see me slowing down with Adept Cosmetics. I know I am still on my no-buy, but somehow, some way, I'm going to have to find a way to get that new palette when it comes. And I'm just in here like, sis, beautiful eye day. My under eyes ain't cracked and creasing. I am truly enjoying this. So, I'm sitting back looking like Torrence. Brushes is dirty again. Makeup that you use need to be disinfected. So I need to go ahead and end this video. Once again, I truly hope you all did enjoy this video. Make sure you check out my previous video because I'm going to explain why I haven't been around for so long. I didn't want to go ahead and go into that, but you all are like family and I don't like keeping secrets from you all. So with nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye YouTube.